Hello, Bobcats. Okay, so today we're going to be finding the parts. Make sure that you have your notes and that you follow along. Marilyn saves 40% of the money she earns each month. She earns $350 each month. How much does she save? Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to write the part, the whole, and the percent. So clearly I can see that 40% is what we're looking for. She earns $350 each month. So this is my total. So because this is my total, it's going to be under my whole. And I'm looking for the part, which is how much does she save each month. I'm going to use my bar models to help me model and solve this problem. So remember that bar models start at 0 and they end in 100. Now the top is always our percent. 0%, 100%. Okay, now I'm going to divide my bar models into 10. I'm going to draw a line down the middle, and then 4 to the left, and then 4 to the right. Okay, and it should look something like this. Now I'm going to divide them into 10 pieces. So this is 10%, 20, 30. And again, this is my percent. Okay, the top will be your percent. Now at the bottom, you have how much she saves in total. Okay, so our money. So we know that she saves 350. So that's the whole. 350, that's going to be at the end. We're going to start at the 0 because $0 would be 0% and $350 would be 100%. Now I'm going to divide my 350 divided by 10, which is going to give me 35. So each of my lines is 35. So we're going to go ahead and fill them in. So 35, and then 35 plus 35, it gives me 70. Plus 35 gives me 105. Plus another 35 gives me 140. Then 175, 210, 245, 280, 315, and then finally 350. Okay, and now all we have to do is look at the bar and then look at the information that we have. So I'm looking for the 40%, so I go to the top and find 40%, and then I just drag my line down and look at the number there. So 40% is $140. So Marilyn saves $140 each month. And that's it. That's all you have to do to solve this type of problems using a bar model. Now let's solve the same problem, but now with the percent proportion. Okay, again, 40%. And then our whole, we said, was $350. Remember, this is going to be your percent side. Percent, this is the part. Percent is always out of 100. And then our whole is 350. Okay, now we're going to find a scale factor. So 100 divided by what gives me 350? Well, nothing. So if I cannot find a direct scale factor, that means that I have to simplify this fraction. And I'm going to simplify it dividing by 2. So 100 divided by 2 gives me 50. And then 40 divided by 2 gives me 20. Okay, now 50 times what gives me 350? Well, times 7. 50 times 7 gives me 350. So 20 times 7 would give me 140. And that's how I would get my answer using a percent proportion. So you get to choose whether you want to solve these type of problems using a bar model or the percent proportion. And just remember, if you can't find a direct scale factor, make sure to simplify your fraction. Okay, let's practice. The original price of a pair of shoes is $45. The sale price is 20% off the original price. What is the discount amount? Okay, so the original price is $45. That would be our whole. The discount is 20%. We're looking for what is 20% of the 45. Let's set it up. Okay, let's start with my percent side. 20%. Percent is always out of 100. And then my whole goes down here alongside with the 100%. So 45. Now you find a scale factor. 100 divided by what gives me 45? Well, nothing. That means that I have to simplify. And I'm going to simplify, and I could divide both by 20. So let's do that. Let's take it to the lowest term. So 20 divided by 20 gives me 1. 100 divided by 20 gives me 5. Now 5 times what gives me 45? Well, that's times 9. And 1 times 9 gives me 9. So the discount price is $9. Okay, problem B. Guys, and make sure that you are copying everything down that we have here, okay? And if you have any questions, please ask your teacher. Okay, problem B. 80% of the students in Jamal's class are wearing tennis shoes. There are 30 students in his class. How many students in his class are not wearing tennis shoes? Okay, 80% goes with the percent. There are 30 students in his class. Now when I see a number in words, I always like to write it on top. So 30 would be my whole, and we're looking for the part. So if 80% of the students are wearing the tennis shoes, and I know that percent is out of 100, I'm looking for how many is not. So if 80% are, if I subtract 100 minus 80, that gives me 20. So 20% of the students are wearing tennis shoes. So I'm not going to solve for the 80, I'm actually going to solve for the 20%, because it's asking me for how many are not wearing the tennis shoes. Okay, so now 20%. Percent is always out of 100. And then my whole is 30. Okay. Okay, now I need to look for a scale factor. 100 divided by what gives me 30? Again, nothing. So if I can't find a scale factor, that means I have to simplify. So I'm going to divide. I'm going to go ahead and divide it by 20. So 20 divided by 20 gives me 1. 100 divided by 20 gives me 5. Now, 5 times what gives me 30? Well, that's 6. 5 times 6 gives me 30. So, 1 times 6 gives me 6. So the answer is 6 students are wearing tennis shoes. Tennis shoes. There you go. And we have one more problem to solve. Use the circle graph. Suppose there are 300 students at York Middle School. Determine the number of students that have chips as snacks. Okay, snacks, fruit, cheese, veggies, cookies, chips right here. So I'm going to circle what the question is asking me. So that would be my percent, that's 18%. Suppose there are 300 students, so that is my total. And because that is my total, that is also my whole. And I'm looking for how many students is 18% of the 300. So all I do now is set up my proportion. 18%, 18 is out of 100. Percent sign. And then my whole is 300. Okay, so 100 times what gives me 300? Well, that one's easy. It's times 3. So 18 times 3 gives 54. So 54 students have chips as snacks, I'm sorry. So 54 students have chips as snack. And there you go. Okay, Bobcats, now it's your turn to practice. Make sure that you take everything that we've seen here and apply it.